Welcome back. Today, we explore the value of these Abraham Copper wheat 1-cent coins that are sold for thousands of dollars. So let's start with the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. Despite the fact that this coin is in a scratched and damaged condition, it still carries substantial value in today's market. This particular coin features the iconic design of Abraham Lincoln, a pivotal figure in American history. The penny has a rich legacy that dates back to its first issuance in 1909. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, designed by Victor David Brenner, was issued from 1909 until 1958. The 1957 coin is part of the final year for the iconic wheat design before it transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This period marks the conclusion of one of the most recognizable coin designs in American numismatics. During the 1950s, the U.S. economy was booming, and the penny, along with other denominations, played a crucial role in everyday transactions. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny, minted with a D mint mark, saw a total mintage of over 1 billion coins, making it one of the most common pennies from this series. However, the sheer volume of production does not necessarily mean that every coin from this year is worth the same amount. The damage and scratches on this particular coin reduce its market value significantly, but it remains a valuable piece due to its historical context and rarity in certain conditions. Even in scratched and damaged condition, a 1957 D penny can still fetch prices that range from a few dollars to higher amounts depending on the auction market and collector interest. For a coin in damaged condition, the value might not break high records, but collectors often look for coins with some sort of historical significance or rare characteristics. A damaged 1957 D penny can generally be valued anywhere from $37,000, though auction prices vary significantly depending on demand. A particularly rare or unique version of this coin with additional damage or wear could increase its value. The 1957 D penny, like all Lincoln wheat pennies, features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with liberty inscribed to the left and the motto "In God We Trust" to the right. The reverse showcases the two stalks of wheat surrounding the coin's denomination 1 cent, a design that gives the coin its nickname wheat. Despite the wear and tear, this coin is still sought after because of its connection to the historical period. Some collectors might even find interest in the wear pattern or the unique scratches. While not necessarily an error coin in the traditional sense, collectors might look at a coin with an unusual scratch pattern or misalignment with some fascination. Next up is the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a large date and an S mint mark. The 1941 coin is another interesting example of how even coins with significant wear and damage can carry substantial value. Let's break down why this coin, despite being dirty and damaged, is still so significant. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck during the early years of World War II, a time when the US was undergoing significant changes in both its economy and its role on the world stage. Although the 1940s saw a wartime economy, the Lincoln penny remained a staple of daily life. This was the period of transition, with the United States shifting from a peacetime economy into one that supported the war effort. In 1941, the total mintage of Lincoln wheat pennies with an S mint mark was around 179 million. However, the 1941 large date with the S mint mark stands out in the numismatic world because of its rarity in higher grades. Coins in poor condition, like the one in this case, are less valuable but still have collectors interested due to the low mintage and unique features. In a dirty and damaged condition, the value of the 1941 S penny can range from $53,000 depending on factors such as rarity, collector interest, and the degree of damage. Coins that have significant wear or dirt can drop in value, but even these can hold strong appeal to the right buyer looking to complete a collection of rare mint marks. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny features the well-known image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The large date on this coin is characteristic of the 1941 issue, where the figures for the year were spaced slightly further apart than in other years. On the reverse, the wheat stalks are prominent, surrounding the coin's denomination. While this coin is not a major error coin, its particular characteristics make it a desirable piece. Some collectors are interested in the overall wear and dirt on the coin, believing it adds to the authenticity and history of the piece. The S-Mint mark also brings in collectors who focus on mint-specific coins. Next up coin on today's list is the 1946 Lincoln wheat cent, featuring the distinctive D mint mark. Now, you might think that a coin in dirty color with scratches and obvious signs of damage wouldn't be worth much. However, when it comes to coins, especially rare ones like this 1946 wheat penny, the condition can sometimes tell a different story, particularly in terms of collector interest. The Lincoln wheat cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, this iconic coin became a mainstay of American currency, symbolizing not only Lincoln's legacy, but also the nation's evolving economy. The 1946 coin falls within the post-Wheatie era, which is a pivotal period in US history. The minting of the 1946 wheat penny occurred as the country was transitioning from wartime to peacetime and the economy was beginning to stabilize. A total of over 1.1 billion 1946 Lincoln pennies were produced, split between the three major minting locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Mint mark indicates that this particular coin was struck in Denver, which helps determine its relative scarcity compared to those minted elsewhere. Even though the mintage numbers for the 1946 D penny are high, it's the condition of the coin, along with unique qualities like errors or damage, that can significantly influence its value. The design of the Lincoln wheat cent has remained largely unchanged since its introduction. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse displays 2 ears of wheat with the inscription E pluribus unum. These design elements make the wheat cent instantly recognizable. The 1946 wheat penny features a particular design element that appeals to many collectors. Lincoln's portrait is depicted with a fine level of detail, despite the relatively small size of the coin. The overall clarity of the design is an important factor in assessing the coin's appeal. But in the case of this particular coin, the visible scratches and damage significantly detract from its visual appeal. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies is generally strong, with certain years and mint marks commanding premium prices. The 1946 D penny is not necessarily rare, but when you factor in its condition, the value can vary widely. In a dirty condition with visible scratches and damage, it may not fetch the highest prices, but if it's part of a larger collection or if there are additional unique factors at play, such as rarity or errors, it could still be worth thousands of dollars. In today's auction market, a 1946 D penny in this damaged condition could still command anywhere from $19,000 depending on the extent of the damage and the demand among collectors at any given time. Coins in this condition may be appealing to those who are not looking for pristine examples, but rather coins with history and character. One important factor to consider when evaluating a coin's value is whether it has any errors or unique features. While this 1946 D penny doesn't appear to have any obvious minting errors, collectors often seek out coins with interesting histories or unusual marks. Whether the damage was caused by circulation or something more intentional, such features can make a coin more intriguing to collectors who are looking for pieces with a story. Next up, we have the 1945 Lincoln wheat cent, an interesting piece because it features a damaged date and shows signs of lamination damage. At first glance, this coin might seem like it's too far gone to be of any interest to serious collectors, but let me assure you, lamination errors can make coins more valuable, especially when they're as unique as this. The 1945 Lincoln wheat cent was minted in the middle of World War II, a time of significant economic turmoil and scarcity of resources. While this particular coin does not feature a mint mark, which means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the year itself is historically significant due to the global events shaping the economy and the numismatic world at that time. The US was transitioning out of wartime rationing, and the coinage system was dealing with shortages in materials. With over 1 billion 1945 wheat pennies produced, these coins are not particularly rare. However, when the coin exhibits a minting error or unique characteristics, such as the lamination damage, it becomes much more collectible and, like the 1946 coin, the 1945 wheat penny also features the well-known design of Abraham Lincoln by Brenner, with the reverse featuring 2 ears of wheat. What sets this particular coin apart, however, is the visible lamination damage, which occurs when the metal layers of the coin don't bond properly during the minting process. This often results in peeling, cracking, or flaking of the coin's surface, which is exactly what we see here. The lamination error in this coin is visible in the form of an area where the metal is peeling away, creating a rough, uneven surface. The date on this coin is also damaged, making it more difficult to read, which further reduces its. Although a typical 1945 penny without mint mark in fine condition may only be worth around $20,000, the lamination error on this specific piece increases its value significantly. Such errors are highly sought after in the numismatic community, with collectors eager to add unique specimens to their collections. Depending on the severity of the damage and the coin's overall condition, this piece could fetch anywhere from $22,000 or more at all. Coins with lamination errors typically hold value due to the rarity of such mistakes. They are considered one-of-a-kind pieces and can attract attention from both collectors and investors. The lamination error is a key factor in determining this coin's value. Errors like this are often caused during the minting process when imperfections occur in the raw metal planchet before it is struck. Collectors who focus on mint errors often seek out these kinds of unique specimens, making them highly prized. In addition to the lamination damage, the missing mint mark adds to the coin's intrigue. Some collectors may view this coin as a rare Philadelphia issue coin, since most other 1945 wheat pennies with mint marks came from other mints. Next up coin on today's list is the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin with some serious history and even more intriguing details for those who are serious about coin collecting. This penny, from the series that ran from 1909 to 1958, carries an immense value despite its damage, something that even seasoned collectors often find perplexing. Post-World War II, the United States experienced a time of recovery and prosperity. The 1940s brought significant changes in the country's economy and culture. In 1947, the US Mint produced a variety of coins, but none perhaps as iconic as the Lincoln wheat penny. This coin, named for its wheat sheaves on the reverse, was part of the US Treasury's efforts to symbolize growth and prosperity. The penny itself was, of course, the small denomination that circulated the most among the general public. However, the 1947 version would go on to be more than just a coin used in day-to-day transactions. It became a symbol of the country's post-war boom. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln wheat penny features a simple but powerful design. On the obverse, we see the bust of Abraham Lincoln, America's 16th president, facing right. Above Lincoln's head is the inscription Liberties and the Year of Minting. Below Lincoln's portrait is the phrase "In God We Trust," a reminder of the nation's founding principles. On the reverse, the iconic wheat sheaves are visible, with a pluribus unum inscribed above and 1 cent centered beneath. The design is elegant and has stood the test of time. Now let's talk about the mintage and market value. The 1947 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, with a total of over 1.3 billion coins struck that year. Given the high mintage, many of these pennies were used in everyday transactions and saw wear and tear over the years. As a result, finding one in exceptional condition is quite rare, but for coins like this, the condition matters significantly. This particular 1947 large date coin, despite its visible damage in the form of scratches, still commands attention. Despite the noticeable wear, the coin's market value is surprisingly high. In recent auctions, pennies like this one, especially when verified as the large date variety, can fetch anywhere from $15,000 for one in lower grade conditions like ours here. However, when in higher grades, or when collectors find pennies with fewer scratches or dents, they could see values rise to upwards of $50,000 or even more. Now, let's dive into something very interesting about this coin, its condition. While a lot of collectors might turn away from a coin that's been scratched or shows signs of wear, for some, this damage makes the coin more desirable. The specific type of damage on this 1947 penny is often referred to as a scratching. These scratches may occur from the coin coming into contact with other surfaces or during poor storage conditions, but believe it or not, for collectors who specialize in error coins, this form of damage can sometimes make the coin more valuable. The story behind a coin's damage, especially when it's perceived as unusual or unique, can add intrigue to its history. Collectors tend to seek out the coins with unique imperfections, sometimes seeing them as part of the coin's character. In fact, coins like these often hold a niche market. They might not fetch the astronomical prices of a perfect coin, but for those in the know, the 1947 large-date penny with scratches can be just as valuable. There's also a growing interest in coins that have been mishandled or damaged due to factory errors. The 1947 large-date penny is often sought after because it serves as an example of how the minting process can leave behind oddities that collectors might find fascinating. Collectors will look for varieties of minting mistakes, like doubling, misstrikes, and even unusual abrasions. So, despite the scratches, this penny is still highly sought after among enthusiasts of rare coin varieties. Next up coin on the list is a 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny with an S mint mark. This particular penny has some very distinct features that set it apart from others, including a heavily tarnished surface that gives it a blackened appearance. The coin is not pristine by any means, yet it has gained considerable attention from collectors, particularly for its rarity and the fact that it comes from such a historically significant year during World War. The 1944 penny, produced in the midst of World War II, carries with it a heavy historical context. By this time, the US Mint had already been working under difficult conditions due to wartime demands. With copper and other metals being redirected for military use, the 1944 penny became one of the last to be struck using the traditional bronze alloy before the switch to steel in 1943. The war had significantly impacted the mint's operations, and the fact that coins like this 1944 penny continued to circulate during such a tumultuous time only adds to its historical significance. Like other Lincoln Wheat pennies, the 1944 version features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse as designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, however, is where things get interesting. It still displays the iconic wheat sheaves, but due to its tarnished, blackened surface, these details are more difficult to make out clearly. In this case, the black coloration is a result of exposure to air and environmental conditions over time. This tarnish doesn't necessarily decrease the coin's value, but it does affect its grade and marketability. In 1944, over 1 billion Lincoln Wheat pennies were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, with an additional 60 million struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked with the AZ Mint mark, the S Mint mark version, especially when found in good condition or with unique characteristics, is often more highly prized by collectors. The coin's market value can fluctuate depending on its condition, but in general, a 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny with an S Mint mark in dirty or blackened condition can fetch around $37,000, with higher prices if the dirt or tarnish is part of a more fascinating story. Now, let's talk about why collectors are so intrigued by this specific penny. The blackened, tarnished condition is something collectors find interesting, because it's not a typical look for a coin, but rather a natural aging process that, whether it's exposure to moisture, environmental pollution, or other factors. The blackened surface has a unique appeal to error coin collectors, who value the individuality of these specimens. Next up, the 1923 Lincoln Wheat penny, featuring a large date without a mint mark, is a notable coin in the world of numismatics. It holds a special place due to its unique characteristics and historical context. This penny was produced during the period when the United States was recovering from World War I. a time when the country faced economic challenges, including inflation and the rising cost of metals. The 1920s in America was a period of economic upheaval followed by recovery. The production of the 1923 Lincoln wheat penny occurred during a time when coinage was struck with less precision as metal shortages affected. The large date variety of the 1923 penny is easily identifiable by its bold numerals, which were a result of the increased wear on the Ds. The obverse features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse showcases two stalks of wheat, symbolizing the nation's agricultural heritage. The lack of a mint mark indicates that this penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The mintage of the 1923 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was over 91 million coins. However, not all of them have survived in high grades, especially those in poor condition like the dirty, damaged coin, where despite its condition, collectors are still keen on finding these coins, as the rarity and historical significance of the piece contribute to its value. In today's auction market, a 1923 Lincoln wheat penny in damaged condition may not fetch a high price as a coin in fine or uncirculated condition. However, depending on the extent of damage, collectors may still pay a premium for this coin due to its historical context and place in the Lincoln series. Values typically range from $1,000 in low-grade condition to higher values in cases where collectors see potential in restoring or preserving the coin. Although the 1923 Lincoln wheat penny does not feature major die errors, some minor variations or wear patterns can increase its desirability. The fact that this particular coin has a dirty, damaged appearance makes it all the more interesting to collectors who focus on finding unique pieces that have stories to tell. Despite the damage, this coin holds immense value in the auction market due to its historical background and the unique characteristics of the large date variety. If you have one in your collection, it's definitely worth checking the current market trends to see how much it could be worth. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny is another important coin in the series, primarily due to its distinctive large date design. This coin was struck in the post-war period when the US economy was flourishing, and it represents a time of change in the country's political and social landscape. By 1956, the United States had largely recovered from the Great Depression, and the coinage was struck with more precision than it had been during the earlier part of the century. However, some coins, like the 1956 Lincoln penny, exhibit intriguing characteristics such as unusual coloration or post-minting damage, making them even more desirable to collectors. The 1956 large-date penny features the familiar Lincoln obverse and the wheat reverse, making it easily recognizable among collectors. The large-date version is notable because the numerals are much bolder and larger than those in the earlier design. The coin we're discussing here has a unique characteristic. It has a green layer on both sides of the coin. This extra color layer is not an intentional part of the design, but rather a result of environmental factors. Over time, copper coins like the Lincoln wheat penny can develop a patina or corrosion when exposed to air, moisture, and other elements. The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny had a mintage of over 412 million coins, making it one of the more common dates in the series. However, the added green patina and the dirty, damaged condition can make this coin much more intriguing to collectors. Despite its lower grade, the unusual color layer can create an added layer of mystery, which some collectors find appealing. As far as market value, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny in this condition may fetch thousands of dollars in auction. The unusual color may either increase or decrease the value depending on how collectors view it. A coin with a strange patina can be either a conversation starter or a piece that detracts from the coin's overall appeal. However, in today's market, collectors are willing to pay more for pennies with unusual characteristics, especially if the patina can be identified as a natural occurrence rather than artificial wear. The 1956 large date penny is not known for major minting errors, but the coin's condition and color make it an interesting piece to study. Some collectors specialize in coins with unique colorations, while others focus on the historical significance of the coin itself. Coins like this one are often sought by those interested in how environmental factors impact the preservation of coins. The dirty, greenish hue is often caused by the coin being buried or exposed to humidity or chemicals. For some collectors, the story behind the coin and its condition can add value, making it a must-have item in their collections. Next up, the 1926 Abraham Wheat 1 cent is a highly sought-after coin in the world of numismatics, particularly when it features a large date without a mint, mark, and an error line across the front of the coin. To understand its value, we need to explore the historical context, the design elements, and the specific error that makes this coin so valuable in today's auction market. The Abraham Wheat penny, also known simply as the Wheat penny, was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features a portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. The 1926 version of this coin is particularly important because it reflects a period of transition in American history, shortly after World War, during a time of economic growth in the Roaring Twenties. The 1926 coin was produced during the height of the Great Depression, when the US economy was beginning to show signs of strain. While the coin itself doesn't directly reflect the economic downturn, it represents a key moment in numismatic history, as it was the last year for some of the Lincoln wheat pennies before the eventual transition to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The 1926 Lincoln wheat penny had a total mintage of 192 million, which makes it a relatively common coin in good condition. However, the value of any coin depends on several factors, including its condition, rarity, and any distinguishing features that make it unique. The error line on the front of the coin, caused during the minting process, drastically increases its value. A coin with such a prominent mint error can fetch upwards of $96,000 or more in auction, depending on the severity of the damage and its rarity in the market. The obverse of the 1926 Lincoln wheat penny features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, facing right. The coin's design includes the words "Liberty in God, We Trust" and the year 1926. The reverse of the coin is where 2 stalks of wheat surround the words "United States of America" and "A pluribus unum." The presence of the error line across the front is the distinguishing feature of this coin, an anomaly caused by a mistake during the die production. This coin's value is driven not only by its historical significance and rarity, but also by the error that occurred during its minting. The error line on the front of the coin, typically seen on the obverse near the rim or Lincoln's portrait, occurred when the die used for striking the coin became damaged or contaminated. Such errors are relatively rare and highly valued by collectors, especially when they are as prominent and clear as in this case. This specific type of error makes the coin even more collectible and desirable, driving up its market price. Collectors are drawn to such coins because they represent a unique moment in the production process, providing a tangible connection to the history of coinage. Coins with minting errors like this are highly prized because they are rare and tell a story that regular coins do not. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave your comments below. And as always, keep hunting for those rare treasures.